Salut à toutes et à tous et bienvenue dans StorySéries saison 3, épisode 10. Cette semaine, on ouvre les portes du monde extraordinaire créé par Philippe Pullman dans sa trilogie À la croisée des mondes, adaptée cette fois pour le petit écran.
I set out for the north some 12 months ago, and this is the first of the discoveries I made. A myriad of worlds, of which the Magisterium controls only one.
Vendu à 2,5 millions d'exemplaires, À la croisée des mondes est une épopée de fantaisie grandiose dans laquelle la jeune Lyra entreprend un voyage dans les contrées du Nord pour retrouver des enfants disparus.
We believe there is an organization that is stealing children and taking them north.
Sometimes children can just disappear.
À la croisée des mondes est également un parcours initiatique semé d'embûches et de rencontres, mais aussi de questionnements intérieurs sur le bien, le mal et les zones de gris qui font de nous des êtres humains.
She can read the lithiometer. She will be more valuable to us than any soldier we have.
Nous avons rencontré les acteurs et actrices de la série entre Londres et Cardiff, Dafne Keen.
The draft he gave to me was absolutely stunning.
Peter Clarke.
It's a story that touches your heart.
Ruth Wilson.
It's a privilege to be part of this adaptation.
Et Lin-Manuel Miranda. What was your relationship with his Dark Materials? I've heard you were kind of in love with it already.
Yeah, I read them in my 20s. When my wife and I started dating, we were kind of, you remember the songs you listened to when you were first dating, but you also remember the things you read together, and we read that series at the same time and sort of fell in love with them.
I represent the West Egyptians, and we would like to hire you.
I know what you're fighting, kid. You're gonna lose. It's a wonderful world to be in. Philip Pullman creates a very complete set of universes with these books. And so the fact that I get to spend time inside it in a physical form by doing this TV show is really a dream come true.
So why am I here, then?
Lyra, I promised once to do everything I could to protect you from anyone who might do you harm.
Protect me? From what?
First, I read it as a book, and as you say, it was beautiful, a wonderful journey. I think that we're getting it right as a TV show because the book is very dense, and the journey of this young lady is very special.
Lyra, boss!
Who's that, Master? Show them the body, show them the mind!
You can't take this story and just do it in 2 hours. You need to have 8 hours or 10 hours to tell this story.
What else do we need to fight them?
Has anyone seen a bear? It's a good bear. You won't have any trouble.
How did you react when you were asked to do it? Was it like, oh, it's destiny, of course?
I was very surprised when they asked me, especially Lee Scoresby, who I don't think I'm the first person on anyone's casting list when it comes to Lee Scoresby, but Jane Tranter and Jack Thorne approached me about that, and I was so honored. And I remember telling my wife that night, because they took me out to dinner, and then I went home and told my wife that night, and she was like, "Oh, cool." And so that was when I said yes. When I saw my wife go, "Oh," it was interesting.
How did you get into the skin of Lee Scoresby? Did you have your own idea of this is how I want him to be? And did they allow you to be this version?
When I saw Caroline's design for the outfit, I was 80% of the way there. It was such a cool and interesting approach to Lee, different from what I'd seen in my head when I was reading the books. But as soon as I put it on, I was like, oh yeah, here he is.
I was told that she was the ultimate sort of literary villain. So I was like, well, I have to read this, and she's iconic.
Lyra, do you know why I'm here? The master has asked if I can find a place for you. And naturally, I wanted to meet you first. And now that I've met you, I like you, and I want to offer you a position as my assistant.
You know, on the page, there's, well, he doesn't explain why she does things. He never does. So that's why she remains very enigmatic. And I think that sometimes you've got more space in dramatization to explore that a bit more. So we've dug into her psychology, and I wanted to sort of work out the dynamic between me and my monkey, because that for me was the key to who she is. So I also felt that she was suppressing something in herself. She has a demon that doesn't speak and doesn't have a name. So I felt if you're suppressing something a lot, it's going to come out in weird ways. So I decided that I'd like to bring a bit more monkey into Mrs. Coulter.
I think what's incredible about this world is it's so adjacent to our own, but I think it also captures our imagination in a way. As soon as you read that book, you think, all right, well, if my soul had a physical manifestation and were an animal, what would it be? It makes you think about yourself.
I tried to change it as little as possible because Philip made a flawless character. But I think what I have done is I've maybe added a tiny bit more darkness to her. The trauma from losing her parents and everything that happens to her. What is it?
It's an alethiometer. One of only 6 that were ever made.
It's beautiful.
It's extraordinary.
What does it do?
It tells you the truth. The character is well written in Pullman's book. You know, what I bring to it is the dilemma or the difficulty in making a decision, a life and death decision, and some intelligence in trying to do that. He's not psychotic. He's a very complex man.
Do it. Now.
We don't know what he put in it. If it was innocent, why'd he send the butler away? The master's a good man. He's always been kind to us. He's poisoning my Uncle Pan.
It was very interesting because we had to get the clothes right. You know, how does he feel with the robes? What does he look like when he's not wearing the academic costume? In rehearsal, répétition, comme ça, it was just what was very exciting.
We need to go.
Pleine de prouesses techniques comme l'apparition des demons, ces animaux totems qui accompagnent chaque personnage, À la croisée des mondes n'aurait pas pu être aussi sophistiquée et flamboyante sans une dévotion totale des équipes qui l'ont façonnée jour après jour.
I think what's amazing about this job is that the books are so much loved, so well loved by cast and crew throughout. It's a labour of love for everyone. They're all working together in such a tight collaboration and such an organic kind of creative process. I think all of them are loving what they have to do and bring to it, and there's a freedom of that. I'm interacting with different people you never would usually. So I'm interacting with the CGI guys because they're going to build my monkey and draw my monkey afterwards. So I'm talking to them about the psychology of what Monkey and I are doing in the scene. And I'm working with a puppeteer. So the three of us together have really created Mrs. Coulter because Monkey is Mrs. Coulter and vice versa. So it's a collaboration entirely. And it's definitely a different process. I've loved it. It feels very collaborative.
You are quite something, aren't you? I'm surprised Azrael doesn't talk about you more.
You know my uncle?
Oh, yeah, we occasionally bump into each other at the Arctic Institute.
You're an explorer too?
Oh, it's such a grand word. But yes, I suppose I am.
I was just mind blown constantly by everyone. We had Caroline and Joel, who were bloody genius, both of them. They're so amazing. Joel's sets are so detailed, I can't even tell you. You go to a table and there is nothing he hasn't thought about. Like, my desk in Jordan College had every single thing. It even had, like, little things that Lyra had written, the map that was scratched on the wall. Caroline's costumes, they were always so well thought of. They were so well designed. My colour in the show is red, so I always have one red element somewhere, and we always had those things in mind.
Others may see us as outcasts, but we are one unified family, and so we ask you and Layuba to protect and fight for the freedoms of all, no matter what may stand in our path.
I saw only one episode so far, but I found the cast was very diverse, which was so cool to watch. And do you think this is one of the evolutions we have to be careful about when we do television nowadays or any type of fiction?
The challenge with adapting any book is that you are taking these characters that people had in their minds and you are putting them on screen. The Hermione in my mind, you know, may be very different from the Hermione on stage or the Hermione on screen. And so that's always just interesting. What I love about what Jane and Jack have done with the cast of His Dark Materials is it's an incredibly diverse world. They've actually done the thing that so few fantasy series do. More and more are doing it, which is that it is fantasy. We are in another plane of existence. You can populate it however you like, which means you have the license to populate it as diversely as you like. And so the fact that they've done that is very exciting and cool. Because if we can't even be diverse in our fantasy, like, what a failure of imagination that is.
The fate of more than this world depends on her.
StorySéries, c'est terminé. La semaine prochaine, on quitte la fantaisie pour s'ancrer dans le réel avec la 3e et dernière saison des Grands.
C'est nous les grands!
On fera nos adieux au teen drama en compagnie de ses acteurs et de son créateur.
On a été très heureux sur ce tournage, donc forcément, ça c'est vraiment rentré dans nos vies.
Allez, à la semaine prochaine.